Bonjour!
Hello everyone, welcome to this video. We are My Private Paris and I'm Rie.
I am Bertrand, happy to see you guys.
So if that's the first video for you guys, we are doing this type of video every 15 days now, every other week. And now we are in the center of Paris. We are doing all the arrondissements and now we're going to visit the 8th arrondissement. But
where do we start, Marie?
But we don't start in the 8th. Sorry guys, we actually have a little surprise for you. We wanted you to see one of the most beautiful monuments in Paris, and just behind us, ta-da! So this is Opéra Garnier.
Where we dance and sing in the rain.
So here is the Opéra Garnier. Do you like this building, Bertrand?
I adore the Opéra Garnier.
Really? Why so?
Because last year I was lucky enough to attend my first opera show in this building, and since then I love it.
Okay, and what was the show?
I forgot about it.
What? You're a terrible client for the opera then.
Yes, I just remember the atmosphere being so exciting, and I have no idea what I saw.
Okay.
I think that's the point.
This is Bertrand talking about the opera. Not a great advertisement, but...
No, but I think it doesn't matter what show you go to see here. The importance is to feel that you are in the opera, in the high society, enjoying a show. And actually, quite often, people didn't know what they were looking at or listening to. It was just about being here.
It's just about being famous and being seen and having friends around here. So you can look at the building, guys, and this is a very uncommon architecture in Paris. You can see that we are in an Haussmannian neighborhood. So Haussmann being the Préfet de Paris that decided that Paris will have to be redone, and as you can see, everything looks very similar. I'm sure you've been here before if you ever visited Paris. Everything is looking the same building, same balconies, beautiful though. And in the middle you have this thing popping up with gold on it and marble. It's all very fancy. It
is.
So this is Napoleon III style, that's how they define it. So what do we like Napoleon III, Bertrand? Do we like him, Napoleon III?
It depends. If you like money, you like Napoleon III. If you like freedom and democracy, well then
not so much.
You have second thoughts.
And it's funny because we're going to celebrate this year the 150 years of La Commune,
yes.
And that is linked with the reign of Napoleon III. But like you say, if you like republic, if you like democracy, you won't really adore Napoleon III. And so we're going to talk more about La Commune probably in the next episode. Now I'm showing up there. If you can look above the Académie Nationale de Musique, which is the original title of the Opéra Garnier, you can see an N and an E and an N and an E again, and that's because of Napoleon and his wife Eugénie.
Exactly. Napoleon III usually is not the one people think about, especially this year where we celebrate the 200th anniversary of the death of his uncle, Napoleon I. So Napoleon III, for you guys, he was first elected as a president of the Republic, and liked the job so much, he said, we don't need elections anymore, I'll keep power. So that's why I was saying, if you like freedom and democracy, maybe not so much. So he did one term as a president and then asked, well, maybe I should be emperor, like my uncle. And so he became emperor, and we talk about the Second Empire, even though he is Napoleon III.
Yeah, that's pretty confusing. But if you
Always.
go to the Louvre, you will see the apartments where Napoleon III and Eugénie used to live. And so I'm showing you again this beautiful top of the building with poesy written on the right. And so a few of the composers that are very known, you can see here Mozart and Beethoven written here. Now, there is one statue that is more important, let's say, or more known than the others.
Or that you like more than the others.
Maybe I do, because I do like Musée d'Orsay, as you all know by now. And this is a statue that made, at this time, quite a scandal. So I don't know if we're going to see well in detail this statue.
It's called La Statue de la Danse. by Carpo, right?
And as you can see, so they are having fun, and yeah, they're all naked. So
Is that the problem?
that was kind of the problem.
Because it's not the only statue where you see nude.
I'm showing you again, guys. So yeah, so this is not the original, right? Because they had to change it because, as you can see, the stone is getting dark and gray because of the pollution. We are in a very very active carrefour, and you see a lot of crossing
Shops.
roads, a lot of shops, and a lot of cars passing, and that's damaging, of course, the buildings. And that's why it's so dark here. So what you're looking at is copy, the original being in Musée d'Orsay.
Exactly. It's a copy that was made by Paul Belmondo, the father of the French actor Jean-Paul Belmondo.
I didn't know that.
But the original was made by Carpo.
Okay.
And that is the one you see in the Musée d'Orsay.
In the
So
Musée
maybe you've
d'Orsay.
seen that one already. It's a statue that is at the end of the main gallery of Musée d'Orsay.
So apparently some people say that this was also to indicate the door leading us to the dancing rooms, and especially to meet the dancer at the end of the show.
Most probably.
So that was quite common for the dancers of the opera, women dancers, to flirt with most of the clients coming here, right?
Well, let's say it was quite common for the rich bourgeois men to try to flirt with the dancers. I think it's the other way
just trying,
around.
but maybe not succeeding.
To the point that it was so fashionable to have a dancer of the opera house as a mistress that we still use this expression in French. To have a dancer, avoir une danseuse, is usually what you say when a rich businessman has a side project where he's spending lots of money, does not really expect any return on his money, but it's just something that he likes to do because it makes him feel good. It's a dancer on the side.
But it does make me remind the series The Crown, you know,
Yes.
with the ballerina of Prince Philip.
It's
yeah.
exactly that same trend.
I'm just looking at the detail here. It looks like a music instrument.
It's a lira,
Yeah.
right? It's a lira, and you have two trumpets in it. Usually the lira is used to as an attribute to identify the god Apollo, who is the god of the sun, but is also the protector of arts, especially music and poetry. And there are a few statues of Apollo on the roof of the opera house. So a lot of liras all over the place. Using the god of the sun and music was also a way for Napoleon III to draw a connection between his reign and the one of Louis XIV, the Sun King. And some part of the inside, they do look like Versailles a lot.
Yeah, they do. They are really beautiful. And just looking at the door, you can imagine how grand the thing is. It does look like a fence, a royal castle fence somehow. And you do have the lyra instruments also here in the middle. And you can see
even under
a
the
little
cupola.
bit. Yeah. Here, the lyra. So those are the main doors to get to the show at night. But if you want to visit it during the day, it's possible as well. It's only 10 or 11 euros the ticket to enter and to visit the beautiful opera house. Today we cannot go, unfortunately, but maybe another time. Just showing you again the statue, beautiful statues.
The statue of music.
And then we're
on the
gonna go
opposite
on our tour. I just love this place. This is kind of the hidden gems just at the side of the Opéra Garnier. So you just saw the name, Square de Opéra Louis Jouvet. And we are in front of Fragonard. Fragonard, it's a brand, they're making perfumes, but it's also a museum here where you can learn more about the perfume and how it's all started. And apparently, it started with the glove industry. So at the time, so I'm talking the 14th, 15th century, everyone had gloves until the 19th century actually. We dropped them Probably because, I don't know, the war, or but it's too bad because I should have beautiful gloves made of leather. So
Now we have masks.
now we have the mask, yeah. So at the time we were having this this industry coming from Italy, with all the skin of the dead animals to make the gloves, but it was, I mean, the smell was just horrific. So
For
they
the
decided,
tanners, yeah.
yeah, exactly, because I mean it is dead animals after all. But so to change that, they were just using powder of anything that was a sense on them. So they were like just putting some powder on them, and then little by little, the people had this habit of wearing so solid powder like that in a necklace. So they had a little necklace with a little perfume like this, and then they're changing it to the liquid. And so here they're telling you everything about that, how it's the city in the south of France, Grasse, that is known to be the one that was, yeah, for all the flowers to be in distillery, and then became in perfumes. So it's very unusual museum and very interesting place.
So it's a shop and a museum.
It's a shop and museum, yes.
I guess
And
I
if-
guess you start by the museum and then you exit by the shop.
You do. In front you have also the Theatre Athénée, and you see the date 1896. So this is typical of the Art Nouveau, and we are at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. And the doors and the windows, you can see they are not with straight form, and they are all curvy. This is typically new art, Art Nouveau.
Yeah, it looks like leaves and flowers all over the place.
Yeah, of course it reminds you the metro,
Yes.
the entrances of the Metro Guimard, so this is typically also the same time. And yeah, this is the statue of a Pegasus right in the middle. So I just love this place because it's very unusual. It's
And
you
so
feel
quiet.
So quiet, you don't feel like you're in the business area by the Opéra Garnier.
Because this is a business area, right?
Yes.
Oh, look, a restaurant. Almost forgot about restaurant.
True, with the spa.
But it's nice of them to have kept the setting, the table, and
Yeah, it looks like we could almost go there.
so the Theatre Athénée and the Square Louis Jouvet. There used to be an opera house here, and it was destroyed to make room for the Opéra Garnier.
Yeah. Yeah, we did, and still today it's known for the theater. Also, you had a lot of theaters not far on the Grand Boulevard. You do also have the first movies. We're going to talk about that very soon, and also some concert hall. So it's a place to have fun. It's really a
Yeah,
place to
a
spend your
place of
money at night
entertainment.
and have fun. And I just love how we are getting to this secret passage to go to Edouard VII.
So we get close to a statue from behind. There's a big guy on a horse.
You can see his name written all over this place. So it's Edouard VII.
Edward VII.
It's also written here.
We can see a E and 7 in Roman numbers. Edward VII, I assume he was a king?
He was a king, but not of France.
Yes, I don't recall having Edward as a king name in France.
No, it's not a French name. We do have a lot of Louis, but not that much Edouard. He is the son of Victoria. You know the Queen Victoria?
Victoria.
From England.
Are you talking about English kings and
Yes,
queens?
Yes.
Oh, the year the year of the anniversary of Napoleon's death. Well, every year is Napoleon's.
So what? We don't talk about the English on the year of Napoleon. It's like a taboo. So yeah, Edward VII was.
So son of Queen Victoria.
Exactly.
So late 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, at the time of the Opéra Garnier being made and all this neighborhood being built.
I start to see the point, Marie. There's a link between Edward VII and the secret with the ballerina dancers.
Oh, I think you better tell the story.
Well, okay, I know that story too. Yeah, Edward VII. Well, the big drama of his life is that he was Prince of Wales for for years and years, because his mother, Queen Victoria, had such a long reign, so he was almost out of job. And he was quite a womanizer, had a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of fame, and he liked, having fun in many different ways with many people, let's say. And here in Paris, well, it was easier to do that because his mother was away. She was in England. And so Edouard VII is known by all local guides, because we all know that story that he had a bathtub made for himself with 2 topless Greek goddesses at each end of the bathtub, and right next to it a chair where 3-4 people could stand on. I'm not going to get into more graphic details, but you see the point.
And that was in his own room, right? He had a room just for himself, also in one of the known brothel that was around here, right?
It's the time where the prostitution industry was all over the place in Paris, and especially in very luxurious homes. And there was one called the Chabanais, which is maybe like a couple of blocks away from here, which was an institution for very rich diplomats, aristocrats, businessmen from all over the world who were coming here, including Edouard VII.
I see. So it's not because you're a prince that you're classy.
No, not at all.
You can see that it's at the end of pedestrian street, so it is very quiet. And
always, not just because of
this
restriction, it's always quiet here.
Because cars cannot come all the way here. And the architecture is quite interesting because it's only one building that is making kind of a U-turn.
Yes.
At the end. So this is Place Edouard VII. You see how beautiful it is. And some people are asking me, is it residential, is it business? It's a mix of both, but of course, living here, it's not like living in the Marais or the Latin Quarter. You don't have little bakeries or grocery shops. It's mostly big brands, luxury shops.
Exactly.
So I would say it's more an hotel kind of neighborhood. It's a place to stay just for a weekend, but
it's
not
more
really
a financial business district.
Sure.
You do have a few bakeries, but it's much easier to find an expensive purse or an expensive watch.
Or in this case, some shoes.
Exactly.
Isn't Loading an English brand?
I think everything is English here. We gotta get out of here.
We're gonna get out of here. Okay, so now we're getting to Boulevard des Capucines. And here in the neighborhood, you do have a lot of boulevards, so a lot of large streets where you could fit easily 3 or 4 cars. And that was made in purpose, right? That was the intention of Haussmann, to have those big axes to make Paris more easy to travel in.
Exactly. At the time where buses and cars, they were pulled by horses, of course, back then, but to have larger vehicle to cross the streets and also to pierce the old medieval neighborhoods by these large avenues was the must at that time.
So now we're getting close to an hotel called Hôtel Scribe, that is located really at the side of Opéra Garnier. And there is a little sign here, more than a sign, more engraving writing. Maybe Bertrand, you can just tell us what is written here. Maybe you can translate it.
So it says that here on December 28, 1895, happened the first public projection of animated pictures thanks to the cinematograph, a machine invented by the brother Lumière. So technically what this means is that this is the birthplace of
movies. So this is where in this hotel happened an event that all Parisians do remember still. So the brother Lumière are 2 brothers that perform, let's say, they took a machine that already existed and they just made it even more performant. And they went all over France and they were filming little clips, little movies in black and white, obviously no music and just silent movies. And here they wanted to show that to just 20, 30 people. So they made this projection, so it was on a white sheet and with a pianist. So you have to imagine the emotion of people for the very first time seeing animated images coming on the screen, and just they get mad at it. Like, they really like it so much that apparently a week later, with all the journalists talking about it, with everyone just talking about this new thing, a week later, thousands of people came here trying to enter in the room. The police had to push them away because it was getting like such a success.
Crazy.
Everyone wanted to see that. And so that's how they made the movies famous. And that was at the same time, you see, 1895, that at the same time at the end of the Opéra Garnier, the same time as the Eiffel Tower. So you have to imagine, really, it's the modern times. It's really the new Paris happening with the movies, with the Eiffel Tower, with all of that, the Sacré-Cœur. It's a new Paris starting.
It's the best of the entertainment industry.
Yeah, and at the time it was more than entertainment, because people were saying in the newspaper at the time, they invented some machine that make you alive forever. Like, you can see Charlie Chaplin dancing, you can see Marilyn Monroe also, and those person, yeah, they look like they're alive and they will be forever. So thanks to them. So that's pretty cool.
That's true. I never thought about it.
That's what they say in the newspaper at the time.
Cinema makes you immortal.
Yeah. And we can now get to over there, so crossing the road to get to Place Vendôme.
I'll just add one thing for
sure.
those of you who like the Impressionist
Yeah.
movement. Right in front of us, I'm trying not to have too many cars on the shot, right here. So this big glass building you see there, it is where the first Impressionist exhibition took place. It was the studio of a photographer called Nadar, and he was crazy enough to let these young painters like Monet, like Renoir, like Basile, to have their painting shown in this very place. Now they are in museums all over the world. They are worth millions. And back then, most people who were visiting the exhibition were going there just to see these crazy forms of art. And
that's the Salon des Refusés, isn't it? Like, was it the exhibition that took place, the rejected one?
In here, it's the exhibition of the Impressionist painters, sculptors, and artists.
Okay.
They created a kind of a company, and they had this exhibition right in here.
Okay.
I think it was 1876 or 77, something like that.
That's very cool.
Happening in the same neighborhood.
So now in Paris, we can't go to the restaurant, we can't go to the museums, and we cannot go to the concert hall.
No, not anymore. Otherwise, we would be here at the Olympia.
Yes.
One of the most important concert hall in Parisian history.
So let me show you. Alors, the name is here. You see l'Olympia. Olympia, and it is a known concert hall. Here we go. So who performed here? Who are the famous artists that perform in the Olympia?
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones.
Everyone.
I mean, if there is one place in Paris you have to perform in to become part of the legend, it is in the Olympia. It's not the greatest
it's a consecration. It's
yes.
It's really the top of the
It makes
pop.
you become, part of the intelligentsia of music.
Of course.
It was started by the same businessman who started also the Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
It was in the late 1800s, then became a movie theater, and then a concert hall, which it has remained until today.
Okay. And it's located again in this neighborhood, so with everything that you need to be entertained, having fun. But for that, you need to be well dressed. So we're also going to get to this neighborhood that is known for Coco Chanel and for all the brands, because the 8 is also that. It's also fashion and jewelry. So now we're getting toward the Rue de la Paix. In between, we have a beautiful building here, Crédit Foncier. Crédit Foncier de France, that's because we do need banks, right? Around
Yes.
here, it's also a neighborhood. The 8 is known to be a business place, a bank place, and also you have the Galerie Lafayette, you have the Printemps, you have all the
Big department stores.
the big department stores. So it's a good place to spend your money for sure. But if you have less money, you also have little bistros around here. We're going to show you our favorites. Do you come often here, Bertrand? Let's be honest, as Parisian.
I come often here as a tour guide,
Uh-huh. Because it's too expensive?
as
or?
a regular Parisian. I don't shop here so much, but I come here also for shows or for concerts. But I cannot say I know anyone who lives in this neighborhood.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know anyone who lives in this neighborhood. It's too chic, probably, for for regular Parisian. So we're getting close to a tiny bistro that made his reputation by being quite cheap in the prices, but good quality. And I'm talking now about the sandwiches, because that's our favorite lunch in Paris. Having a great sandwich with ham and cheese. I'm sure if you ever came in Paris, you did try good ones. And you can see it doesn't look like much, Le Petit Vendôme, but it is a known place. So you see Rapide Croûte, that's because for a long time a sandwich was called a casse-croûte, just meaning that we are breaking the crust of the bread. So do you know this place, Bertrand?
I love this place.
Yeah,
Le
you
Petit-
do, huh?
Le Petit Vendôme is one of these secrets you like to share with your friends, because it's so small, you can't have too many people in it, so you don't want everybody to know about it. So we're not going to give the exact address, because you need to earn your sandwich at the Petit Vendôme.
You're a tough negotiator.
Of course.
Here they have beautiful butter, fresh butter from a crèmerie. All the hams are also artisanal or from very good butchery. So they select their product pretty well, and the prices are just the same as any other bakery. So it's, but yeah, I just love this tradition of having casse-croûte here, and yeah. Especially when you know what is on the side, when you know all about the hotels, the luxury palaces, Cartier, Louis Vuitton. So when you compare that to the place we just saw, that seems from another world.
It shows that you can find almost
everything here. I'm just showing you that, I don't know if you can read well, but it's written Maître Parfumeur et Gantier. So this is a place where they're making gloves and perfume, which is the good link that we saw in Fragonard, and how the perfume started with the gloves. So that was a little boutique just right there.
Are we reaching the Rue de la Paix, the most expensive street in Paris?
I think so. Look at that. So we are reaching a place with jewelry that is it 30,000? I think it is, for just a nice little bracelet.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's do some shopping, Bertrand. Woo! Guys, if you want us to buy things at one point, you can tip. Below the video, you have a link where you can tip.
You've seen the price, so
you've seen
we
the
need to
price.
have a lot of people on this video.
So don't hesitate to participate in this. No, I don't think we're gonna have enough for even just one of the little mini diamond on it. So Rue de la Paix, we did talk about Rue de la Paix on our fashion tour, because this is linked with haute couture, with fashion since the beginning of it, and it's linked also with Place Vendôme. And Place Vendôme is both a fashion place, but also an historical, very interesting place, because it was built under Louis XIV.
Exactly.
And in the middle, we're going to talk about someone you really like, Bertrand, because you talked about him already 3 or 4 times in this video, with no link at all. And now we have a good reason to talk about.
I'm just drawing connection to the little man on the statue.
I love the
here.
way Bertrand can talk about Napoleon every time in any places, with no excuses at all. So yeah,
Are
now we
you
do
telling
have one.
me I'm not very discreet when I do that?
I think you're a big fan. So let's have a little moment showing you guys the Place Vendôme, and in the middle, we do have the Colonne Vendôme. So what can we tell them about this place?
Well, so you said the square was originally designed way before Napoleon, under Louis XIV in the 1600s. There were several homes that were owned by different aristocratic families. So we call them hotel private mansions. And nowadays they are mostly fashion stores, or jewelry stores to be more precise, but one to the right, which is the Ministry for Justice. So the Secretary of Justice works in the building here, the one with the big red flag. And so there used to be, because this was a massive square, it is quite impressive. So there used to be a statue of King Louis XIV on a horse in the middle of it. It was taken down during the Revolution. And after the Revolution, well, we had the rule of Napoleon. And Napoleon, when he became emperor, started to replace royal emblems by his own emblems. So maybe we can get closer to this column, because it may look a little bit familiar for those of you who traveled to Rome, because this is a victorious column in the style of the Roman emperors.
So it's so big that I need to put my camera up so you can see it a little bit more.
It goes higher than the buildings around.
Yeah, how tall is that? Like maybe 50 meters?
Ooh, way
like
more.
That? Anyway, so that's pretty big. Is it big like the ego of Napoleon?
I think Napoleon's ego was slightly bigger than the column here, but it's interesting. I'm not so much a fan per se of Napoleon. I think it's just interesting to study what happened during his reign, and what we see here is a great example of propaganda, because going all the way to the top, you have some kind of a comic strip, two lines that are showing the Battle of Austerlitz.
Oh. Let's have a look at this column from close. So that is not stone, this is metal, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it looks like copper that was...
Originally it was made of bronze.
Okay.
The bronze of the cannons that were taken from the enemies during that Battle of Austerlitz. And the enemies were the Austrian and the Russians.
Okay.
It's probably the first major battle won by Napoleon after he was crowned emperor. And so that battle was known as the Battle of the Three Emperors. And it really set Napoleon's fame for years. And especially having this huge column, once again designed after the ancient Roman style, was a way to say that Napoleon is here to bring France to the same level of glory as Rome back then. So an empire for hundreds and hundreds of years. Now this column was taken down 150 years ago during the Commune of Paris. Marie, you mentioned earlier in this video. During the Commune of Paris, symbols of autocratic power and dictatorship were taken down, so including monuments dedicated to Napoleon. So this column was pulled by dozens of men, brought to the ground, and it was reconstructed later on. So it's not the original. The original, once again, was broken, but it shows that Napoleon's symbols, quite a lot of them, were actually recreated way after Napoleon.
By fans like you, Bertrand.
Once again, by people who start to say that it was the glory of France that matters, and not so much the one of Napoleon.
The man, but what he brought to France. So yeah, there is always a debate about Napoleon, even today. Guys, if you do like Napoleon, you can say that in comments. If you don't like him, you can also say it. just let us know what do you actually feel about Napoleon from your point of view.
What happens now is that there is more light that is shed on the number of people who died during the Napoleon Wars, the fact that Napoleon restarted slavery in the French colonies while it was ended by the French Revolution. Mm-hmm. So we started to talk more about things like that.
Yeah.
And for years it was not kept secret, but it was unsaid. So now there are more, I have to say, balanced views on the man.
Uh-huh. Bertrand, we are getting into the Ritz. I don't know if we can actually go inside.
Well,
since that is open, and probably because they do have conference hall and they have places to hold companies coming really for the day. So I just assume it's that. Maybe some people can also stay there. That would be great. So the Ritz Hotel is one of the first hotels in Paris with every luxury you can imagine. They had bathroom inside the room, so that was completely unique in France. They made themselves very famous also because they have a garden, and it's a very large hotel. You don't really understand when you just look at the facade. You say, okay, that's the Ritz. No, it's actually large like a street. It's very long, and it's known, of course, because of Coco Chanel being one of the guests. She had a room there for more than 13 years. It's also known for Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway loved this place. He had they renamed the bar after him, and there is a bar called Hemingway's Bar. It's one of the tiniest hotel bar you can imagine. It's very charming. You have pictures of Hemingways all over, and they're making amazing cocktails there. So it's really a nice place to discover.
And that's open, but only if you have a room.
No, you can go. You can. I mean,
at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment for sure. But I did have a cocktail once in the Hemingway's bar. So and this palace, like Le Meurice, like other palaces in Paris, were occupied during World War II by the heads, let's say, of the Nazis, because of course they were beautiful places. So when you were just a normal soldier, you couldn't go and have a room there. But when you were part of the top of the hierarchy, then you were staying here. So that was for during the World War II, that was occupied by Nazis. That's why if you're looking at the video we made with Marie on Coco Chanel, you will learn a lot of dirt, let's say,
dirty secrets
dark
Coco
spots
Chanel.
Of the history of Coco Chanel while she was living here and staying with German Nazi soldiers. So yeah, so that's for the Ritz. And if we go to, we can see the detail also here of the balconies. Can you see well the detail there on the balconies?
I'm trying to get closer.
Can you see the head of Louis XIV? Because this is the Sun King. This is the head of Louis XIV, and in the middle of a sun. And down there you have those scary masks and those figures that are called mascarons. And apparently those were not just for decoration. Those were here to protect the buildings against the demons. That's what I know from the Pont Neuf, and that was a tradition that came on with the gargoyles, with this era where we were so superstitious, afraid that the demons will come and destroy buildings. And so we kind of kept the tradition a little bit by superstition, probably more for decoration at the time.
What a majestic square. Marie, where are we now?
We are in a very noisy place in Paris, which is unfortunate because there is a church in the middle that is very known as La Madeleine. This church is, let's say, the equivalent of Westminster Abbey for us, because everyone that is known will have a funeral here. So it's like the big one. Notre Dame used to be for that, but Notre Dame is really known for being linked with the kings and the ancient times, let's say. So now the most modern building that celebrate known people, like such as the Johnny Hallyday. Maybe one of you guys know Johnny Hallyday. He's a famous singer.
The French rock star.
French rock star, and when he died, we made amazing funeral here. And why that? It's because La Madeleine is a massive church. It looks like a Greek temple.
It does. Yeah.
You see, it was the idea was to copy the Parthenon in Athens. And this is at the time of Napoleon. So this is for Bertrand.
Again.
So Napoleon, the idea was to make a church for his great army, for the great army of France. So he wanted a beautiful, massive church to be remembered, for that his army to be remembered. And that's why inside you have a whole fresque with Christianity, and in the middle, Napoleon, the emperor, being right in the middle. Which is interesting because Napoleon, the religion, what's going on here, right? I mean, maybe you can tell us what was happening. So first he was a revolutionary, but then...
Yes, and he was a revolutionary. He was part of the Robespierrists, so he was in favor of Robespierre. So it doesn't mean that he's anti-religion, really, but more in favor of a regime that is not connected to the church. But once he became emperor, well, he started to understand that the support of the church could be interesting for him, and he will try to find a deal with the Pope. Well, it took to kidnap the Pope, take the Pope from Rome, bring him to a chateau outside of Paris called Fontainebleau. So it was a tough negotiation, but in the end, Napoleon signed a contract with the Catholic Church to make Catholicism the state religion once again in France.
So that was more a political act
was completely
than really
a political.
a faith act. I'm gonna try to cross without being run over. This is very risky. Okay, we did it.
Survived.
We are on the other side. Woohoo!
It was close.
So I heard also that here we have 52 columns, because apparently at the time he was making the building or decided to make the building, that was his age. Some people say it's also the number of weeks in a year. So we don't really know if it's really a symbol or not, but for sure it is the copy of another building you can see in France. At the end of this street, you have another building that looks pretty similar to this one, and it's the Assemblée Nationale and the Deputies Hall of France. And in between, the obelisk on Place Concorde. So La Madeleine is not very known, it's not very touristy, but it is...
Not at all, yeah.
No, but it's big and it's just there, so let's have a look inside if we can. When it's spring, those stairs are covered in flowers. That's one thing that I really like about La Madeleine. And also, every Sunday at 4 p.m. there is classical concerts that are free here in La Madeleine. So if you are here on a Sunday afternoon, have a look. It's it's worth to see it.
It looks like it's open. There's a bit of renovation work going on. They're cleaning the stones that turned black because of the pollution.
Mm-hmm. And we can see the doors. The Church of La Madeleine is massive, so of course the doors are also very large, very big, and they are representing the 10 commandments of Moïse. So that's why here it looks kind of scary. Maybe I can give you that, so I will wear my mask to get into the church. So now we are inside the church La Madeleine. There's a plaque for Johnny Hallyday.
So they're using this moment to do a bit of renovation work, to clean a little bit the walls, which...
You can go on the side, Bertrand.
Yes.
Maybe you will notice that, so it's still accessible. We can go in churches. Masses are still going on. It's just one chair out of two was
you need to keep distances between them.
Yes, to make distances for the groups. So let's try to approach the fresque. You can see it already from there. Maybe I'm just going to point. Napoleon is here in the middle, and all here and on the side you have characters from French history that are linked with Christianity, such as Joan of Arc and St. Louis, and you have also, of course, Henry IV. So all the kings of France that matters in the history of Christianity of France, and in the middle,
and Napoleon.
with a black eagle.
can't believe Napoleon put himself also here. It looks like he's having a conversation with the Pope though. Maybe he's saying, okay, France is becoming Catholic again.
Oh, the mass is about to start.
Yep.
Let's go. So guys, we have to go because the mass just started. So sorry, we cannot stay any longer. But before we go, Bertrand just found a little sign here which say that
Watch out, the public is asked not to spit in the church or on the
on the
marble stairs or on the carpets.
So please don't spit, okay, Bertrand? Yeah, those are beautiful marble down, so that's why. Okay, let's go. So we just exit the Madeleine Church, past Dior, and now we are getting to
Le village royal.
the Village Royal. So what is the Village Royal? So we talked about the fact we are in the fashion district. Talk about, you see Dior is here, Vuitton was on Place Vendôme, Chanel is here. This place is kind of a secret street in the 8th arrondissement, and I do like it. It feels like we are in another part of France almost. It's very quiet.
A small village.
It's truly like a village.
Look at the building on the left. So tiny. You don't expect to be in a big city.
Sure.
And have such a small building. It looks a little bit like the Passage Commerce Saint-André in the
Yes, this
in the
tiny
6th
street in the
district.
6th. Yeah, you're right. And this is also a known place because of Instagram, because you had twice umbrellas, colorful umbrellas that were covering old streets.
Like
so
this, you mean?
Like this, but more colorful. And so, yeah, so that's also what made a Village Royal famous. So this was our little tour of the 8th. That's the end already.
It was a beautiful neighborhood.
It was a beautiful neighborhood.
I missed coming here actually.
Yeah, but we need to have more money and to just invest in one of the beautiful buildings here and
Or start doing real tours again.
yeah,
It's been a year. Start to be long.
yeah, already a year. Yeah, that's the coronavirus birthday. That's really sad.
Yeah, not happy birthday, Corona.
So yeah, so we're gonna see you in probably in 2 weeks, and yeah, please like this video, share this video. If you want to tip us, don't hesitate. It's now the good moment, and maybe see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Thank
Bye,
you
guys.
for following us. Bye bye.
Ciao.